Pirates have brutalized the African coasts for a long time. This makes it worse for the region's citizens, but it's also gravely endangering the economy. What is the real story behind this mess? It's common knowledge that Nigeria today is in ruins. Although the country found a vast amount of fortune with their underground oil, they could not switch from being an underdeveloped nation to a developed one, even though with such money they could have easily worked on their development. So what caused this issue? Poor management of oil wells? Maybe. However, the main reason why Nigeria could not develop is because of a deeply rooted problem. What might that be? This can sound a bit like fiction, although it's not. Most of the coastal countries of Africa face a major problem, and that is pirates. Yep. And they have been destroying more than peace of mind among the citizens and the government. They are strategically sabotaging the economy of these countries, and Nigeria ranks at the very top of this list. The beginning of pirate culture. Ever wondered what led to this very brutal outburst? How do these African coastal countries fall prey to such pirates? If we talk about Nigeria specifically, we will realize that the sudden reach of oil deposits brought a lot of misfortune to them. We all must have heard the saying, there's a little bad in every good and a little good in every bad. The oil gave Nigeria a resource believed to be highly valuable, but it came with some bad luck too. The oil within the ground made it difficult for farmers to grow crops on the soil. The crops would either die or be poisonous. It made the locals take a more physical approach while tackling this situation. They started destroying several pipelines laid throughout the nation so that they could grow their crops in peace. That surely doesn't sound good, but certain steps had to be taken, and that's what the citizens decided. But this wasn't all. The problem grew when the locals realized they could no longer depend on fishing. Chinese and European fishermen were closing in on the waterbounds and taking most of the fish with them. This was because these countries had the resources to catch tons of fish, while Nigeria lacked the same. This led to a shortage of food among the locals, and they soon realized it would only be easy for them to carry on with their daily lives if this situation was taken care of. Food is, of course, important to survive, and the shortage led to something nobody could have imagined. So what are your opinions on the pirates that originated from Nigeria? Drop your thoughts in the comment section to get different views on this scenario. And this is what marked the beginning of these pirates. They started looting cargo ships and even cruises that had tourists in them so they could have enough food and other necessities essential for their survival. Until this point, these people only aimed to live, but what followed soon after was something much more sinister, something people at that time would have never expected, and the coming part of the video is surely something you might not be able to digest either. Stock market crisis and the hostage situations. So even though the locals were against the oil production in Nigeria, they were at least getting some bits and pieces due to it. However, it all changed in 2016 with the stock market, and it fell quite hard because the price of oil almost dropped a mile in the chart, which served as a major blow to these recently turned pirates. They were already on their last straw, which was taken away from them. The whole fiasco further encouraged them to take their illegal dealings a bit higher on the scale. Now they were not only looting these cargo ships, but they also started keeping the crew members hostage. Things continued to get worse day by day. Stealing food, even though it isn't correct, was still tolerable, but keeping people captive should have drawn the line. But they didn't stop there. They would ask for ransom from their respective government, and if denied, they would kill all the crew members by shooting them and throwing them into the ocean. They would then keep all the cargo and sell the ship on the black market, or take it apart and sell the pieces separately. Either way, they were in profit, but they had grown fond of the violence a little too much. Killing innocent people did not bother them a bit. This was intolerable for different governments as well. They could not risk their citizens' lives and belongings, hence strict waterways laws were created for higher protection. The Gulf of Guinea. At one point, the Gulf of Guinea used to be the most effective route for shipping cargo, and it was only a short time until pirates got a whiff of it. They started posting around the shipping round in search of opportunities and were rewarded nicely. By that, we mean they planned and stole many items. The international cargoes had goods worth much more than these pirates would generally score, and this boosted their confidence in this deadly game by tenfold. With their newly found self-esteem, they figured they could take over the waterways by dominating and creating fear in the mind of the public and the government. In today's world, the Gulf of Guinea is considered to be the most dangerous trade and shipping route out of all, and cargo ships would only consider moving their goods through this route with security from their government. This is because of the shootings between the pirates and the security boarding the ships. It has become quite common in the Gulf and doesn't look like it will end anytime soon. The fear has remained constant among people. Every cargo ship that travels through this line is always at risk, making travelers feel unsafe. The Somalian Pirates. The Somalian pirates are the most profitable in this bad business. They're rich and have acquired money just by being in this line. Now you might wonder, how is that? Well, let's begin with Somalia itself. This country has been suffering from famine and drought for almost 30 years, or maybe even more than that. And since there is no proper government to manage the country, you'll be surprised to know that there aren't any schools or hospitals here. People don't have security or any source to keep them safe from different threats. To become a pirate, the employment sector only has one job and position to offer. And before you ask, yep, they earn quite a lot being a pirate. Even though this is not a real job, they earn quite a lot through piracy. They have money, food, and many other treasures. Ever seen fictional pirate movies? The pirates are always poor but have great riches. So how do they achieve this? Well, Somalians generally spread their arms around cargo shipping oil containers. They would take over the ship and place a ransom demand of millions of dollars. They must wait to receive that money through a helicopter drop-off to leave the boat in any way. Now, this should be more strategic. Being in between a deep ocean, the crew in the ship which has been taken over has no option but to surrender, as they cannot run away. It's hard to fight back because the pirates are fearless people who did what they had to for survival. Today, they don't think about what will happen to them or any kind of consequences, but know that this is something they get a thrill doing and is, of course, making them rich. Their armory. So what kind of weapons do these pirates operate with that they can easily throw off government securities? When pirates started, their beloved weapons were swords and cannons, and pirates shifted to guns. From assault rifles to standpoint machine guns, they have every piece of artillery. But is that all? Actually, no. Somehow they've gotten their hands on torpedoes as well. These pirates invest more than 60% of what they can loot and obtain in ransom in these modern weapons through black market dealings. That's one of many sources of acquiring weapons. Basic guns and rifles are also found in their stolen items. While taking over government or high-security ships, they get a chance to steal the weapons used by the people on that ship, all of which makes it easy for them to maintain their dominance over the ocean and remain on top. This brings us to the end of this video. So what are your opinions on the pirates that originated from Nigeria? Drop your thoughts in the comment section to get different views on this scenario. We hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the next one.